Bonsoir Facebook. Avant de commencer live, là, je vais checker pour moi si Internet est bien placé. Je ne vais pas faire ça jeudi, hein, une seconde. Ok, bonsoir Facebook. Good evening Facebook. Good night everybody. Tonight I'm going to do my live in English. This live that I'm doing tonight, I'm going to do it in English because I'm going to keep it for my YouTube. This is a very special live to me because I get to talk about what's going on in the world of social media, in the world of YouTube, in the world of Facebook, in our world. Okay, I get to talk about that tonight. So tonight, the live that I'm doing tonight is going to be in English. I'm going to be talking about this man. His name is Tommy Sotomayor. You guys, Sotomayor is a Haitian last name. The last time I checked, when I heard this guy and I heard his name was Tommy Sotomayor, I thought that was a Haitian guy because that last name, to me, that's a Haitian last name. That's the only time I have heard of this last name was with Haitian people. So when I heard of Tommy Sotomayor, I thought that was a Haitian man, but it wasn't a Haitian man. He's actually, I think he may be Panamanian. I'm not sure what his nationality is. I'm not sure what his ethnic relations are. But tonight I want to talk about Tommy Sotomayor getting punched in the face in the House of Consciousness. So it's a lot of things that are happening in the culture of this United States of America that we Haitians, we're not aware of. But a lot of these things, a lot of these subcultures, a lot of these institutions are involving us Haitians into the mix that a lot of us Haitians were not aware that those mixes are happening out there. We're not aware that those conflicts are happening out there. It's about seven people who are on the live. I'm asking 7 of you to like the live and to share the live. Tonight I'm doing the live in English, and tonight I'm going to be talking about a guy. Eni Lorak, thank you for sharing the live. Tonight I'm going to be talking about a guy by the name of Tommy Sotomayor, and Tommy Sotomayor was punched in the face. I believe it happened this week, or it could have been Sunday or Saturday, but it happened it was a few days ago. So it's a lot of conflict happening between black people. Okay, it's a lot of conflict happening between black people. One of the major reasons why those conflicts are happening between black people, one of the major reasons is because the United States of America acts like a melting pot. The United States of America expects you to lose your ethnicity. The United States of America expects you to adopt to a United States culture the minute that you arrive to the United States. When you come to the United States, the black people in the United States, they don't give a damn if you're Haitian, if you're Panamanian, if you're Brazilian. They don't give a damn because to them you're just becoming black people. To them you're becoming part of black people. Or so when they say black people do this, black people do that, you're supposed to be part of the black people who do this and the black people who do that. Good evening, Ludmila Louis. Good evening to you. I'm asking the people who are coming in onto the live to share the live and to like the live. Tonight I'm doing my live in English because I want to speak about this individual, this male. His name is Tommy Sotomayor. And like I'm telling you, I'm going to be sharing this with my YouTube viewers. Tommy Sotomayor, the first time I ever saw any type of YouTube from Tommy Sotomayor, I believe it was sometimes last year, and I believe he was into an argument with a black woman who hit his car. That was the first time I ever came into contact with materials from this man. Isema, Michael, bonsoir Isema. Michael dit black is beautiful. Okay. That's always a nice cliche. And that's another reason why I'm doing my live tonight, because the cliches that are happening in this country, the cliches of the United States of America, I'm finding out, hey, bonsoir Adrien, I'm finding out that the cliches that are happening in the United States, that we Haitians, we are now saying those things, and we're not thinking about what we're saying. We're not thinking about the cultural effects that those things have on us when we keep repeating them, just like every other black people keep repeating them. There is a cost for repeating things. When you become a Jacques Répète, when you start repeating everything that you hear, and when you start adapting to a culture you don't understand, there is a price for that. And that's why I want to speak about, not only am I going to be speaking about Tommy Sotomayor, I'm going to be speaking about this other man called Saneter, okay? Like, when you look at these men, you know something is totally wrong with what we call black people. Something is totally wrong with us. If this is what you want to label us in the United States of America, which is black people, something is terribly wrong with us as black people in this context. To go back to my introduction of Tommy Sotomayor, the first time I've ever met this gentleman via any vlogs was in this one instance where there was this black woman who hit his Eddie Bauer Jeep, and he was pissed off. When I saw that video, I believe I saw it from another YouTuber who had a problem with the way Tommy Sotomayor reacted to this black woman when she hit his car. That was my first introduction to this man. When I first saw that, in my head, in my heart of head, I said, what an asshole. I still think Tommy Sotomayor is an asshole. I still think that of him. I think he's an asshole. I think he's a very good asshole. But do I think that he deserves to lose freedom of speech? Because if he can't speak, if he doesn't have freedom of speech, neither do I. Okay? Another reason why I'm doing this vlog is because not only is it important for him to have freedom of speech, because violating his freedom of speech means violating my freedom of speech. Another reason why I'm talking about Tommy Sotomayor is because, well, in the long run of it, in the nut of it, in the relevancy of it, okay, he's a man. Okay, so even though he's not what I would say the epitome of what I would like a man to be, because according to me, he's a bit too talkative for me. I don't believe in having men and having males talking so much. Okay, so I would probably be the type of female to tell him to slow down. I don't believe in men talking so much, especially with the drunken speech and the verbiage and the harangue and all of that. I don't believe in encouraging a man talking too much, because in my mind, in my heart, and in my knowledge of manhood, because we all, at this point in the game, we may have different interpretation of what masculinity is, but in my culture, in my Haitian culture, and this is why when I do my live to the Haitian community, I always go back on our culture, because at this moment, okay, at this time, we are facing a social crisis, we are facing a cultural crisis, we are facing an identity crisis in the United States of America, because all of us are considered black people. There is an issue, there is a problem, there is a major problem. But Tommy Sotomayor, another reason why I'm talking about you tonight is because of your reaction to your butterball. And so if some of you are not following the conflict that's happened with Tommy Sotomayor, is over the weekend, I believe, it was either Sunday or Monday, Tommy Sotomayor ended up going to Harlem. When he got to Harlem, he ended up going to I believe it was one of these, I think it was the Audubon Ballroom. And I believe the Audubon Ballroom is the same Audubon Ballroom where Malcolm X if it's not right in that area, it's right around, if it's not that same ballroom, but it's right around that vicinity where Malcolm X was assassinated. So we're talking about historical landmarks. We're talking about Tommy Sotomayor, a person who is known to have harsh speech and who's known to speak his mind and who's known, I haven't, for the past 2 weeks, I've been following this event with Tommy Sotomayor, but the first time I've ever seen anything about him was last year when this woman hit his car. And let me tell you, it was bad. And when I saw that, it was the last thing I saw of him, because after that, I didn't seek anything about Tommy Sotomayor, because in my mind, that was a grade A asshole. And I know assholes, okay? I know assholes. Just like you know Rivers, I know assholes. So for me, it was not ever about continuing to watch him, because at that moment I was totally turned off. I found his reaction to the black woman, I found it was made up. I found it was over-exaggerated for television. I was turned off. I found that it was a lot of attention seeking in it. I found that he was really taking out a lot on this one woman. I found that he was dishing out to that one woman every anger or every strife that he's ever had with a black woman. Because of this videotape, a lot of people were angry with Tommy Sotomayor. A lot of people were angry with him. They wanted to hurt him. So this past few days, Tommy Sotomayor ended up in Harlem, ended up going to a place called House of Consciousness. This place that he went to, that is called House of Consciousness, I'm asking those of you, I have 12 people on the live, I'm asking those 12 people to click like so I can move on with the live. Thank you for tuning to my live. Okay, you could be watching faggot Anderson Cooper right now. You could be watching that faggot right now, but you're watching me. That means there is something about me that you find interesting. That means there is something about me that you find appealing and that you like to watch. So I'm asking the people who have not done so, I'm asking you to click like on the live so I can move on with the live. Tonight I'm talking about Tommy Sotomayor. I'm talking about House of Consciousness. I'm talking about the black people, the African American community. Because when you look at the African American community, it is not the same as the Haitian community. Now, we have a lot of overlaps, because when you come to the United States, everyone is expecting you to be black people. The African Americans who are in this country, the African Americans who are in the United States, they behave as if black people only means them. They behave as if there was no black lives in the Americas before they came from Africa. They behave as if there is no American legacy for black people in the United States. They behave as if slavery is the only history we have in the United States. That's my original problem with the black people of the United States. So when you're talking about black people history in the United States, it may not necessarily be African American history the way that it's been popularized, because African Americans have taken a monopoly on the word black people. African Americans have taken a monopoly in the United States on the words black power. Okay, I have 12 people watching. Right now there should be 12 people liking the live. I'm going to check the live to make sure that there are 12 people liking the live. This live I'm going to be sharing with my YouTube channel. My YouTube channel is called The Haitian Voice. I'm going to be sharing this live to my YouTube channel as a response, as my reply to Tommy Sotomayor, as my reply to the House of Consciousness, as my reply to Saneter, and all these other guys. Because according to me and according to my culture, all of you men are bullshitters. All of you men talk too much shit, according to my interpretation of you. Okay? So when I do a live, and when I get into talking about cultures, and when I get to talk about black people, the first thing I do in my life is I remind my Haitian culture, my Haitian people, that this is a trap. This is a trap. You come to the United States and you begin to look at these black people as if they were the same as you, but they're not. They're not the same as you. These are not the same bloodline as you. So when you talk about black people, the object, the adjective black becomes relative, because according to this, it means nothing to us. It don't mean shit to a Haitian right now. When you look at the African American culture and the blacks who are African Americans, those are black people who have been trying their best to invent a culture for themselves. Can we blame them for trying their best to invent a culture for themselves? No. Did we blame the so-called Jewish people for forging a culture for themselves and forging a Bible and forging a history for themselves? No. But while they're doing that, we cannot afford to be the spoils of war. We the Haitian people, we cannot become the rug upon which you dust your feet as you wish to stand up in the civilization of the 21st century as worthy. As you wish to stand up in the civilizations of the 21st century and represent yourself of having had a civilization. We the Haitian people, we cannot become your marche-pied. We cannot become the rug upon which you dust your feet just so you can elevate yourself. You cannot crush Haitian history. You cannot crush Haitian legacy. You cannot crush Haiti or the Haitian people to elevate yourself. And that's what's been happening with the United States of America. Not only has the United States been crushing Haiti and the Haitian people to elevate itself, but the American people, including the African Americans, they've been doing the same, if not worse. When you look at the way black people have been exploiting other black people, you take the African American as the right arm for the white American, for the cracker American, for the blumana American. So when you're looking at the blumana American and you're looking at his relationship with the African American, they are a pair. It is very important for Haitian people at this moment in the United States of America to be careful. Take heed, because right now it's not advantageous for you to become a Mason. It's not advantageous for you to become a 5%er, for you to become a Nation of Islamists, for you to become a Hebrew Israelite, for you to become a House of Consciousness member. Right now, it's not advantageous for you as a Haitian to forget your cultural heritage and to adopt to those other cultures. It's not advantageous for you to do that at that moment, because right now, when you're talking about black people in the United States, you're talking about a group of people that are ruined. You're talking about a culture that is being made up as we speak, and it's dangerous. You're talking about a group of people who are taking up pieces and pieces, and they are putting together this civilization, and they don't give a fuck who they're taking from. And they don't give a fuck about the validity, about verifying their sources, because whatever looks good, whatever looks appealing, they will take it and they will create a culture with it, because they have the support of mainstream media and they have the support of the white Americans who are the same as black Americans to me. White Americans, black Americans, it no matter to me. You are all the same to me as a Haitian, because according to you, we are all the same. Okay? When you look at the subject, and when you look at the institution that is called racism, that is an institution that is being maintained by black people mostly. Mostly it is the black Americans in the United States who maintain this system you call racism. And they insist that black people all over the hemisphere participate in this system of nonsense. It's nonsense. It's rubbish. Okay, and they insist that we participate in this system of rubbish, of nonsense. Okay, so I'm going to go back to why I'm making this live tonight. Tonight, I'm making this live because I want to reply to Tommy Sotomayor, Because what happened to Tommy Sotomayor this weekend, I believe it was this weekend, he went to Harlem. When he got to Harlem, he went to a function, an African-American consciousness function in a place called the House of Consciousness. When he got there, I believe he was approached by a couple of black men, and one of them ended up punching him in the face. So Tommy Sotomayor was punched in the face this weekend. Either this weekend or Monday, Tommy Sotomayor was punched in the face, and after being punched in the face, okay, I'm gonna slow down the live. Right now I have about 7 people who are liking the live, and I have 12 people watching the live. Because I usually do YouTube, I can always tape this just for my YouTube. I don't have to do the Facebook Live. If the information that I share with the community is not appreciated, then I move on. I don't have to do the Facebook Live. I don't have to share the information. Because I do have a YouTube channel. It's not a million people channel, but it is my YouTube channel, and I can always share with my YouTube channel, as I've been doing over the past couple of years. Facebook Live is new to me. I enjoy it. It's an interactive platform. I do enjoy using it. But at the same time, when I'm speaking with the community and when you're watching me, I want you to click like. Otherwise, don't watch me. You can always go watch the faggot Anderson Cooper. You can always watch the mammy Oprah. You can always watch those big lesbians. You don't have to watch me. There are a lot of famous idiots, bunch of assholes on TV you could be watching right now, but you're watching me. That means there is something going on. There's something about me that you love. So for that, you have to click like so we can move on with the live. Okay. Noah Jacques, bonsoir. Estrafika, bonsoir. Pierre Wahid, bonsoir. Isemar, Michael. I swear I'm up for live en anglais, yes, because tonight my live is in English. Isemar dit, moi pas comprendre si j'ai am. Well, désolé, tonight we are doing it in English. Tommy Sotomayor went to Harlem this weekend. He went to a place called the House of Consciousness. This is what the black people call their consciousness, movement of consciousness, movement. I'm not sure what these movements are all about, okay? This is my experience because I am an African-American leader. Whether or not individual African-Americans want to crown me, that's besides the point, because I do not wait for niggers to crown me in any way, shape, or form. I do not wait for niggers to give me value in any way, shapes, or forms. So as an African-American leader, because I'm also a Haitian leader, so as an African-American leader, because my leadership in the African-American community is something that started really early in my teenage years. I became an African-American leader because I was chosen by other African-American leaders to be a leader for them. So whether you accept my point of views is beyond you, because I'm already a leader with an opinion, with a point of view, and with a reach, okay? I don't have a covenant, okay? I don't have a group of men worshiping me like most of these group of males. That's what they do. It's a bunch of males worshiping other males. I don't have that. And I don't believe it's a healthy state of mind or healthy state of functioning to be, okay? But according to my leadership in the African-American community, this is for me, this is an experience that was valuable because it was the experience that taught me the business of racism, the business of consciousness. When you're talking to African-Americans and when you're speaking about what it means to be conscious, it becomes a business. And it becomes a business that it's a bunch of men that run this business. It's a bunch of men that sit around all day talking shit. That's what it is to me. That's what the consciousness, that's what the African-American consciousness movement, that's what it is to me. When you're looking at members of the African American consciousness movement, again, to me, y'all just a bunch of niggas talking shit to me. So when I look at a man like Tommy Sotomayor, yes, you talk too much shit to me, but I'm a Haitian woman. I have a different culture. So if you go into the nut of the Haitian culture, you will see that in the Haitian culture, men don't talk all that shit. All that shit talking, all that diarrhea of the mouth, that's an American men shit. In our Haitian culture, men work. In our Haitian culture, men, when a man becomes over 35 years old, he's no longer single talking shit. In our Haitian culture, when a man becomes over 30, 35 years old, he's taking care of women and children. He's contributing to the wealth of his family. He's not walking around talking shit. Now that's our Haitian culture. Does this mean that every Haitian do this? No. And that's why it's very important for me when I do live, when I come live, for me to go back on what it means to be Haitian, for me to go back and revise with my Haitian community what it means to have a Haitian culture, because there are things that you do in the Haitian culture that other black people don't do. You are not black people in the American society. When they speak about black people, they're not speaking about you, because our Haitian ancestors, you cannot, yes, you can judge the Haitians of the 21st century based on the Haitians of the 17th century. But it is not wise to assume or to fault the Haitian of the 17th century because the Haitian of the 21st century is talking too much shit as a man. Because the Haitian of the 21st century forgets his role as a man, because now he's in the United States and he's adopting to the socialization of all other males who are acting like bitches. When you look at the nut of the African American conscious community, it's a bunch of males talking bullshit to impress one another. A lot of times when I see these males, I have no doubt that they are licking each other's scrotums. I have no doubt about it that these males are very good at sucking each other off. I have no doubt about it that these males are so comfortable in servitude to one another that they have no problem holding each other's sack as they get into the private deeds of animals, as they get into the animal rituals of sex. I have no doubt about this as I look at the functions of the black people and the community that we call the consciousness community in the United States of America. When you're speaking of this community, it is very important to understand that it does not mean Haitians. It does not include Haitians. Tonight I'm doing this live. I got about 14 people coming up on the live. It's not a lot of you tonight. So it doesn't matter if it's 12 or 14. When you come on the live, it doesn't matter if you come in for a minute or two or less. You have to click like so I can move on. This is an interactive platform. Tonight I'm doing the live in English, as it's important for me to reply, not only to reply to Tommy Sotomayor, but to reply to the House of Consciousness. Because a lot of these young people, a lot of these older people, they got it fucked up. You got it twisted and you got it confused. A lot of time it takes a woman with wisdom to untwist you. But a lot of times those males, they don't want to be untwisted, because when they're speaking that verbiage, that weak rhetoric, when they're speaking about it, they sound like they're somebody. You sound like you're a strong man, but you're not. That's not what the strength of a male is. When you look at that Haitian culture, okay, Haitians, we have a culture that has been verified. Haitians, we have a culture that our ancestors left for us. So for the Haitian people, we do not have to go into the confusions of where we come from or where we originated. So if a Haitian in the 21st century chooses to take part in the confusions of the Western Hemisphere, it is his or her choice. So I'm replying to Tommy Sotomayor because Tommy Sotomayor started speaking about Toussaint Louverture, and I know you don't know shit about Toussaint Louverture, Tommy. You don't know shit about him. I know and I understand that you were speaking out of anger because somebody just punched you in the face, nigga. You just got punched in the face. So you were speaking out of embarrassment, and you wanted to lash out because in my culture, Tommy, there's a proverb that says rotten teeth feel strong when they eat bananas. So in this case, you're a rotten set of teeth, and you're thinking Toussaint Louverture or Haiti could be your banana at that time, but you're not going to be so easy to bite into that banana, Tommy, because once you bite, you're going to feel me hard under your teeth. I'm going to be that hard thing that comes under your teeth and that stops you and that says, okay, hold on, pause there, nigga. Just take a fucking pause, because the conflict that you niggas have breeding with each other is a conflict where it feels like you want to fuck each other. It's a conflict where it feels like you want to disrobe each other and strip each other and shove your cocks in each other's anus. It has nothing to do with Haiti and Toussaint Louverture, Tommy. You are reacting. Okay, you are reacting out of embarrassment. As a woman of wisdom, I understand. That doesn't mean I have to tolerate, but I understand. It doesn't mean I tolerate you. It means I understand you. It doesn't mean you get a pass. Nobody gets a pass. If you hear any place where people are telling you about passes, nobody gets a pass. It's a phantom. A pass is a phantom. A pass doesn't exist. No one gets a pass. All right? So, in the Haitian culture, because a lot of Haitians are losing touch with their own culture. As you are coming in on the live, I'm asking you to like the live and to share the live as you are coming in on it. Tonight the live is in English. Tonight I'm replying to some males in the African American community because it's a lot of drama going on with the black people of the United States. And one of the major reasons why there are so much drama with the black people of the United States is because the African American community has been an accomplice with the white people. So it's one to me. The African Americans and their white counterparts, they are one to me. There are no differences to me because they have been an accomplice to make black people one thing. Just because we are all black people, it doesn't mean we are the same. As Haitian people, we have suffered so much to keep our ethnicity, to keep our culture. We have suffered so much just to keep our cultural identity, our ethnicity. Okay, so on this 21st century, if you find that there are Haitians who are joining your cults, if you find that there are Haitians who are joining your organizations, it's because those Haitians are lost. It's because those Haitians have been lost in translation. Those Haitians have been lost in immigration. Those Haitians are lost. But when you're speaking about the Haitian people, we still have a culture that is intact. We still have a culture that is vibrant and that is functioning. So, what happened this weekend is Tommy Sotomayor was punched in the face while he was visiting a place called House of Consciousness. And when he got to the House of Consciousness, there was another man there that was called Saneter. To me, I have heard of Saneter before. I have heard of these black men, but these black males do not interest me because according to me and according to my Haitian culture, these black males talk too much. They act like biatches. They act like bitch-ass niggas to me. That's why I have never really taken the time to really follow a man like Saneter and to learn anything more about him. A man like Tommy Sotomayor, the reason why I would say I am in, you can call it support or you can call it just in existence with Tommy Sotomayor is because of his freedom of speech. Because if he's not allowed to say what he wants, then I can't be allowed to say what I want. So if he loses his freedom of speech, it is as if I lose my freedom of speech. Another reason why I can't do this. I do this tonight, not kind of. Another reason why I do this is because Thomas Sotomayor is still a man. He still represents manhood. Okay, yes, he does talk too much, but he still bears whatever is left in what we can call United Stadian manhood. He still represents a fraction of it, and so I cannot knock him out, because to knock him out in this moment would be to knock out whatever's left in freedom of speech or whatever's left in American black male manhood. In the United States of America, just because a person has black skin, it doesn't mean that they are the same as you. In the United States of America, just because a person speaks English, or just because a person wears red, black, and green, it doesn't mean they are the same as you. In the United States of America, we see that the African American community has invented for itself a culture at the expense of anybody else. They don't give a fuck. All they know is they're making up this culture. And this culture that they're making is for them and the white man. It's not just for them. It's for their leisure and for their comfort and for the comfort of the white man. That is what it's been done for. Okay, let's get real about this. That's what this is about. When you're talking about African American culture, African American black lives, it's for the comfort of the white people. Okay, it's not just for what you would call black people around the world, because black people around the world are not homogeneous. Black people around the world are not a homogeneous group. Okay? We are not a homogeneous group. Okay? We are different people. Do you understand? So just because you come from Belize, I come from Haiti, you come from Panama, we are different type of blacks. It doesn't mean that we are the same type of black people. That's not what it means. Because a lot of times when you come to the United States, you are expected to act like an African American. I remember when I was growing up in high school, when I was growing up in Brooklyn, New York, I was going to Tilden High School. And at the moment you go into Tilden High School, a lot of Haitian kids are dressing like African American Yankees because they want to pass, because they don't want to be harassed after school, because they don't want people to bother them after school. And so for the Haitian kids at that moment, they were wearing and dressing like Yankees, what we call Yankees up north, which is African American kids. They were dressing like that because they did not want to face persecution from African American kids, because at that moment they did not like Haitian kids. I know a lot of other Caribbean kids who pretended to be African American kids just so they would not get persecuted by the African American, because at that moment the African American kids, they are building their civilization, they are building their culture at the expense of anybody else. But let me tell you tonight, there is a Haitian culture. There is a Haitian way of life. And let me tell you something about Haitian men. Because in the Haitian community, we have men. I understand that in the United States, we are facing a crisis of manhood. But thank God that it has not infiltrated the Haitian community 100%. We still have what we call manhood in the Haitian community. So in the Haitian community, all that talking too much is a bitch-ass nigga move. Haitian men don't talk so much. Haitian men, by the time they become 30, 35, they become with family. You're not going to see a typical Haitian man walking around single, available, and talking shit after 30, 35 years old. He's going to have responsibility. He's gonna have a family to build. He's gonna have a family to be responsible for. And at that moment, his pride is no longer with what clothes he wears or what cars he drives. His pride is with the family he's raising, the wife he's beautifying. Pierre Wahid asked me, are African Americans consciously building a culture for themselves, or are they reaching in a negative way to the pressure of racism upon themselves? Pierre Wahid, I think the way that you asked me the question, you already know the answer. Just by the way that you asked me the question, I can see that you already know the answer, or that you have an idea of what you're talking about. I really truly believe it is that they are building a culture for themselves, but the pressure of racism is a pressure that they want to put on other blacks, because the game of racism is a game that African Americans engage with their white people. They're the same. The white people and the African Americans, they're the same. Those Europeans and the African Americans, they're the same. The African Americans allowed the Europeans to suck on all of their juices. So when you're looking at the building, the founding fathers of the United States of America, as they are black men and women, that allowed Europeans who came out of England. These Europeans, they were nothing white males. They were savage white males. They had no titles. They had no culture. They had no education. They had nothing white males. Okay? So when you look at the black people in that moment 200 years ago who allowed these nothing white males to suck the life out of them, to suck the common sense out of them, and they built a culture together. Because if the white people are not sucking on the African American people, they don't feel worthy. The African American culture cannot exist without the white culture victimizing it. And that's what racism becomes. It becomes a game between the two of them. And they insist that other black people participate in the bullshit. You are insisting that other black people acknowledge the bullshit, because in the Haitian culture, race is not the way we identify ourselves. We are like in the Haitian culture, I'm going to be identified where I'm from, my bloodline, the wealth of my family. That's going to identify me, my class. Okay, so me, when you're speaking to me, Lahini, that's my name. If you want to identify me as a Haitian, you're going to use different things. First of all, I'm from the South. That's going to be a major key to identify me. It's going to be where I'm from. The family that I come from Nestor family. I come from Caio family, Theodore family in Jacmel. Those are major, major families. Okay? And then you're going to look at the class of where I'm from, my economic reality. Those are the ways we identify humans, and those are just the way it is. Okay, because if you're talking about you're a man this and you're a man and you ain't got shit, you ain't talking nothing. In the United States, they are confusing the reality of young males and young women, because these leaders, these so-called conscious leaders, all they do is talk shit. All these men do is talk shit, and they've been doing that for centuries with the white man. And all the white men expect out of you is talking shit. So not only do you love to talk shit, but we also know that that's what the white man expects out of you. He's expecting you to keep talking shit. So when you're looking at a culture like the Haitian culture, we do have men. We still have that. When you look at a culture like a Haitian culture, you have to understand that the Haitian culture of the 21st century is not the same Haitian culture of the 17th century or the 18th century. The job that was done on the black people, the African American people of the United States, that's the same job that is being applied to the Haitian people over the past 50, 80 years. When you look at the conspiracy of religion as a way to divide our culture, as a way to divide our nation, especially with the conspiracy of religion, Haitian people have suffered a great blow. The nation that we call Haiti is under attack as we speak. So Tommy Sotomayor, in your anger, you disrespected Haiti, but what did Haitian people do to you? Was it Haitian people who punched you? Did we Haitians stop you from punching back? Did we stop you from fighting back? Tommy Sotomayor, you're talking about Toussaint Louverture and you're talking about poverty. Haitians are not poor. Haiti as a country is not a poor country. The country that you know as Haiti, located in Hispaniola, Haiti used to be the whole, all of us, me as a Haitian, Hispaniola used to be mine. When you look at underground in Haiti, when you look at above ground in Haiti, when you look at the Haitian people, that is a rich situation, Tommy Sotomayor. When you look at the men you are disrespecting, Toussaint Louverture, that man was the richest man in the Western Hemisphere in his time. Do you think that in the 18th century and the 17th century, white men were the richest men in the Western Hemisphere, Tommy? It was Haitian men, it was black men, it was Haitian men who were the richest men in the Western Hemisphere at those times, 200, 250 years, 300 years ago. What are you talking about, Tommy? Because it feels like you are losing your historical relevance because you were pissed, because you were embarrassed. You got punched in the face. You're a man. If I were you, I'd be pissed too. If I were you, I would want to return that punch. If I were you, I would want to deal with that man who punched me and humiliated me and degraded me. I would want to do that if I were you. When you look at the man whose name is Saneter, according to Tommy Sotomayor, he went to the House of Consciousness to meet with this man called Saneter. When you're looking at this man who calls himself Saneter, I swear, just the way he looks to me is a bit ambiguous. Okay, I don't like men who talk too much shit. That's number one. Okay, not only is this Saneter individual, not only is he a shit talker, but when you look at his demeanor, it's like, okay, you ever composed a bomb? You ever created a concoction? You ever created anything like that? Well, this man, it feels like he's created himself, and he's calculated, and he's manipulated to be this particular man and to act the way he acts. It feels like that. Okay? It feels like this is a guy who has packaged himself to be the way he is. This is a man who enjoys affecting other people's lives. And he has, the way that I see him, it feels like he has psychological control over himself, and he understands how to influence others psychologically. For me, I don't know the men personally. I don't wish to know any of these males personally. But for me, it becomes a moment where something about him, besides the fact that he talks too much shit, something about him does not sit well with me. When I heard that Tommy got punched in the face, the first thing that came to my mind is that he was set up. He was set up by Saneter. Saneter knew what was going to happen. And that was the first thing that went to my mind. Is it the true things that went to my mind? No, but it was the first thing that came to my mind when I saw in the news that Tommy got punched in the face. The first thing that came to my mind is that he was set up. When you look at the reaction of Saneter, you look at the reaction of a man who had another man as his guest, and the other man was assaulted. This is what Saneter says. He says he's lucky he just got dealt with one punch. He says he's lucky he just got dealt with one punch. In the exercise of manhood, there must be action, and these men are engaging one course of action. In the exercise of manhood, there must be action, and these men are engaging in the one course of action. Let me explain to you another thing about us Haitians in our culture of manhood. Let me tell you, you see, us Haitians, if a man has a problem with another man, do you know what happens in that moment? In our culture, because we have a different culture than the United States black people, Haitian culture is verified culture that our ancestors left for us. Haitian culture is culture that we can follow, and it will lead us, and it will stay logic throughout the following of it. So this is a culture that I trust because it's verified, because my ancestors left it for me, and because it's not tainted with European propaganda. So in the Haitian lifestyle, in the Haitian culture, which is deeply rooted in our way of life, which is voodoo, in the Haitian culture, voodoo is not a religion. Voodoo never was a religion. It is a way of life. So in the Haitian culture, way of life, if a man has a problem with you, you will handle it. Either you will sit and talk, or you will fight it with physical force. When you look at the culture of men in the United States, the culture of men that African Americans have created with their white counterparts, it's a culture where men talk shit. It's a culture where men act out. Not only the men, they talk shit, they act out. They talk too much and they act out. So in the exercise of manhood, there must be action. So meaning Saneter, if Saneter has a problem with Tommy Sotomayor, if the House of Consciousness has a problem with Tommy Sotomayor, the main thing to do, okay, is not to punch him in the face, is not to sucker punch him in the face when he's not looking or he's not ready. In the Haitian culture, you would ask him for a boxing match. You would ask him to square up. You would not punch him while he's not looking. In the Haitian culture, we have manhood, and manhood is it's not up for discussion. It's not up for dispute in the Haitian culture, in the Haitian tradition. Manhood, we've already defined it and we've already verified it. So no matter what the gender wars that are happening in the United States, we the Haitian people will not allow the gender wars, the gender warfare of the United States of America to catapult us into non-logical pattern of thinking and behaving, meaning we ain't going to turn dumbass just because our neighbors and everybody around us are turning on us. Okay, for the United States to be the way it is today, it took the sacrifice of many idiots. Okay, so for us Haitians to still have a culture, to still have something that we can hold on to that has been verified, it took a lot of sacrifices just the same. So just because 21st century Haitians are dropping the ball, it doesn't mean that we the Haitian people are. It doesn't mean the Haitian nation is gone. Just because the Haitian people are under occupation in their own country, it doesn't mean that the Haitian way of life is dead. So in that moment, if those two were Haitian men functioning in the Haitian culture, they would either talk about what was going on or they would fight it out. Because in the course of manhood, in the exercise of manhood, there must be action. And that is the handicap of the manhood in the United States. Because according to the manhood that these black people have invented along with their white counterparts, according to this manhood, they can't fight. They're not allowed to exercise physical fight. They're not allowed to exercise physical strength. They're not allowed to overpower each other physically unless somebody's shoving a penis up somebody's anus. That's the only physical demonstration that they are allowed to practice to overpower one another. Whereas in the Haitian culture, yes, it's possible for one man to overpower another man. It is possible and it is done daily. Okay, yes, you're supposed to overpower another man if he presents a challenge to your well-being, if he presents a challenge to your development. You're supposed to be that kind of person. You're supposed to be that kind of animal where you're not afraid to stand up for your manhood and to be a man about it. So even though Tommy Sotomayor is still a talking nigger to me, a talkative nigger to me, but at the same time, he still bears whatever is left of manhood in this country. And so I dare not take that apart, and I dare not take away his freedom of speech because of what he says. I say things too. Just like he says things, I say things as well. I have a POV as well. And when you look at the Haitian way of life, our point of view, a lot of times is no different than his point of view. All right, guys. I invite those of you who are watching me to click like. The live that I'm doing tonight is a live that I intend to share on my YouTube channel. That's why I'm doing the live in English, because I'm actually replying. This is actually in response to Tommy Sotomayor, because Tommy Sotomayor got so embarrassed that he got punched in the face. He took his anger out on the Haitian community, out on the Haitian people, out on Toussaint Louverture. One of the things that Tommy Sotomayor was mentioning is that because this one man, his butterball in the House consciousness, was mentioning that his hero is Toussaint Louverture. And Tommy Sotomayor, Toussaint Louverture is not a broke nigger, my nigga. Okay, when you're looking at the image of black people as poor. That is not what Haiti stands for. It is you people in the United States who keep insisting that you label the Haitian people as poor. But when you go to my country and when you look at the makeup and the riches of my country, we are not poor. The last handout, okay, when you look at the 17th century, we rescued the United States. Our money built the United States. When you look at 7 years ago, again, our money rescued the United States out of financial deprivation, out of plunging into financial deprivation, plunging into a Great Depression. Okay, it was us that they sacrificed. It was the Haitian people that they sacrificed in the form of an earthquake, where over $13 billion, okay, the Haitian people's money was returned to the United States. That's what happened to that money. That's why I encourage the Haitian people to stop begging. Okay? I know that the Haitian people are being corrupted, not only by African Americans, but white people too. When you look at the United States as an enemy of progress, when the United States want to ruin other black people, it doesn't send white people. They send other black people to ruin other black people. They send other black people to fuck up other black people. So when the United States want to fuck up Haiti, it's going to send the Nation of Islam. It's going to send Hosea Williams and his fathers, biatches, and their... It's not going to necessarily have a white face. When you look at American destruction, United States destruction, most of the time, the face of United States destruction is an African American face. When the United States want to take over Cuba, they send African Americans. When the United States want to fuck up and dupe Haitians, they send African Americans. They send people with similar color as you to dupe you, because they know that once you see another black, you're going to be like, oh, it's another black, let me relax. But it's not another black, and you should not relax. It is not about skin color. It was never about the color of our skin. It was always about the way we identify ourselves ethnically, our bloodline. Because we, the Haitian people, we know that even as Haitians, we are not a homogeneous group of people. As Haitians, we are the makeup of 101 nations. Do you know what the word nation means? Nations. Okay? So that means it took 101 different nations to make up the country, what we call Hispaniola. Because the first nation that made up Hispaniola was our American black ancestors. How can we deny our American black ancestors who worked so hard to give us ownership in the Western Hemisphere? Okay? Tonight I'm doing the live in English. Don't forget to like the live. As you are coming on the live, don't forget to like it. Okay, so when you're talking about the incident that happened between Thomas Sotomayor and Saneter, I feel like Saneter knew what was happening. When you look at a man like Saneter, those are not men to me. Those are ambiguous male figures to me. They don't represent manhood to me. When you look at our definition of manhood in the Haitian community, by the time you are 30, you are married and you are taking care of a family. You are taking care of women and children. That's what manhood means to us. You are protecting women and children. You are taking care of them. That's what manhood is to us in the Haitian community. When you look at the definition of manhood in the African American community, in the United States community, because this applies to black and white the same. When you look at their definition of manhood, it is more or less a bunch of men talking shit. A bunch of men talking too much. You men talk too much shit for me. Men are not supposed to talk so much shit. Men are supposed to work and to build life and to build wealth. In the real world, men don't talk too much shit. Men work. If you got a problem with another man, you handle it. You put your hand in his neck and you choke that bitch and you make him understand who the physically stronger man is. But you don't get to the level where you... In the Haitian culture, it's women who do that. Us women, we are allowed a level of talkativeness, but not too much. Even women in the Haitian community, we don't want you talking too much shit. So in the Haitian community, in the Haitian culture, we believe in work. You got to have great, excellent work ethics. But as far as talking too much, it's not recommended unless somebody is holding audience. So when you're holding an audience, then you're giving a certain leniency, a certain leverage to where you can talk too much shit. Okay? When I look at Tommy Sotomayor and I look at the House of Consciousness and I look at the guy who punched Tommy in the face, I feel like these are two groups of men who are trapped. These two groups of males, they are trapped in the American definition of what manhood is. I really feel that way because these are also two groups of men where you cannot see what their women have to show for it. Like I said to you people, I'm an African American leader as well as a Haitian leader. My experience from the time when I was very young, when I became a leader in the African American community, it was one experience for me that really turned me off to where I had to step back and I had to deal with my leadership in a different way. I had to present myself in a different way. I had to start advocating whatever activism I was practicing. I had to return back on it and I had to practice it in a different ways. And I'm going to tell you what changed my mind. I believe it was 1999. I believe it was around that time, 99, where I was living in Virginia. And when I was living in Virginia, I was part of a group of young people, and we had a radio show. It was in a major radio station, and we would have this show every Saturday morning. And this radio show was called Fat Lips 4.0. I've been doing radio for a long time. Now that I'm thinking about it, I have so much radio experience. So we would have this radio show, and this was a black conscious radio show. Because like I said to you, I have been part of the conscious community for a very long time. And I have been a Haitian woman all my life. So I know the difference between being part of a conscious community and between living my life where my conscience bears liberty. Because the consciousness of liberty is not the same as having a conscience of freedom. Because when freedom is in your conscience, it's not second guess, it's not a movement, it's part of your animalistic ritual. It's how you move around. You're moving around free, you're moving around like a lean cat. It's a difference. Okay, so as I was doing this radio show, Kwame was the host. I was co-hosting. It was a bunch of us. It was a few of us co-hosting that show. And one day we invited it was this major African American group of people called Move. If any of you watching, if you know anything about African American struggle, about African American leadership, or African American groups, you know that the Move, these are the people. How can I describe the Move organization where I'm describing them right and righteously and not taking anything away from them? The Move is a group of mostly black people that were nature-loving, freedom-loving activists. And then when you look at 1985, the government, in May of 1985, the government of the United States dropped a bomb on their house in Philadelphia. Okay? So the people, the groups that call themselves Move, they have a last name where they call themselves Africa. So one of the original members of the Move was John Africa. Then you have Pam Africa, and you have Ramona Africa. So I believe that on that day, I think we were interviewing Ramona Africa. Or was it Pam? Because one of them was locked up. One of them was not available, or either on the run-up. I'm not sure what was happening with Pam. Was it Pam Africa? Let me Google that and see if it was Pam Africa that was locked up. Because I know that we had one of their sisters, I think it was Ramona Africa, that came on the show. To make a long story short, we were hosting this radio show, and Africa, because I don't know which of the sisters, I don't remember if it was, I think it was Ramona Africa. She came with a couple of her sons. And let me tell you, these young men, because this is a group of people who live in nature. So they had been eating more, they were healthy, they were beautiful men. And me as a young woman at that moment, I'm looking at these two men coming into the radio show, and they are escorted by European white women. So at that moment, I'm looking at this group of people who say that they are pro-black, but they don't even have a black penis for me. Like the only black penis, like when they raise a black penis, they ship it to Europe. It becomes the property of a European girl. And whereas I'm in the consciousness community and they got nothing to show to me, they got nothing to show for it to me. Like if I'm not even giving access to a man, if you are raising these men and you are breeding them so they can go be with European white women, what the fuck I'm serving you for? What the fuck what the fuck I'm in your movement for? Okay? Because all I'm gonna get at the end of the retail niggas, that's all I'm gonna get at the end of the day. And that's how it ended up serving me. Okay? At the end of the day, I got nothing for it. It showed nothing to me. Okay? So at that moment, I had to take a step back and I had to revise my participation in the movements, in those movements, to those people. Because just because it's called black consciousness, it doesn't mean that it's with your conscience. It doesn't mean that it's a movement where your conscience is pure and free. And I realized at the time, okay, these people are not working for the benefit of other black women. They're working for the benefit of their group. So if a European white girl has money, that's where they go. They're not looking at color like we're looking at color, but they're telling us to look at color the way they're looking at color. They're telling us about racism, but then they go around and do whatever they want. So at that moment, I had to revise what racism meant to them. Because in my country, in my culture, there was no such thing as racism. So when you're a Haitian person and you're coming to the United States of America and you are seeing racism for the first time and you are experiencing racism, you have to remember this is a creation of the United States. This is the product of the European whites and the blacks. This is something they made together. This is something they keep going. It's a business. So when you look at the people that call themselves Move, and you had another guy called Mumia, okay, and suddenly there was a movement to free Mumia Abu Jamal. But when you look at the movement to free Mumia Abu Jamal, it's a movement of a business. How long does it take to free Mumia? Because right now it's just a business. And at the time when I was young, and I remember one time I was working at the free Mumia movement, and when I was there, Most Def came, and Most Def came with this Japanese girl. I was like, at that moment I was discouraged. Not only did the move when their men came, they came with a little European white girl. When Most Def came, he came with this little Japanese girl. Like, for me, the movement that calls themselves consciousness, they do not nurture the growth of the black woman. Not enough for me to give them anything, to give them spit on a hot day if they was laying in the sun frying. So that's when I had to define my leadership, not in the sense of an American product, but because my leadership was also a Haitian product. I had to find the boundaries. I had to find the balance of functions, because the way that manhood and womanhood is treated in those societies, in those cults, that's not how we deal with womanhood and manhood in the Haitian community. Okay? So when you look at Tommy Sotomayor and look at Saneter and the House of Consciousness, you see those are two groups of people who are trapped. And instead of understanding that they are trapped, they lash out on each other. It will not serve any reason to hate Tommy. It will not serve any reason to hate Saneter and the House of Consciousness. The moment that I start to hate, then I become trapped just like them. So when you look at the Haitian people, Tommy, that's your only savior right now. That's the only way you have to save yourself right now. Do you understand? That's about the only salvation left for a black man like you. Okay? Because when you look at the Haitian people, yes, a great part of the Haitian people have been compromised. But when you look at the rest, the majority of us, we are still intact. The consciousness of the Haitian people, the conscience of the Haitian people is still functioning. The culture of the original people of the world, the cultures of our ancestors is still intact. So that is something to be respected. Okay? Me, Lahini, I don't support the notion of men worshiping other males. So when you look at the people who attacked Tommy, who assaulted him, and you look at Tommy, yes, there is a difference, but in other words, there are no differences. There are no differences when men are busy talking too much shit. There are no differences between you all. To me, there are no differences. Because all of you are a bunch of men talking shit to me. When you look at the house of consciousness, what wealth have you built for your women? What wealth have you built for your children? But you keep talking shit. You keep talking all this shit. But you have not built wealth. You have not built the generations to follow that will really take over what you're doing. Like, okay, I have met many of these men in person. A lot of these men are people that would consider themselves my friends. Okay, a lot of these members of these cults. When you look at these cults, they are destroying manhood. When you look at these cults, it's a bunch of men licking each other's booty hole. But they make no progress. Their women are underrated. Their women are overshadowed. And I'm asking you women, why do you keep serving these weak-ass males? Why do you keep serving these weak-ass niggas and you ask for nothing in return? Where is your wealth? Where are the children that you're supposed to be raising who are sane in the brain? Where are the product of a society are the children of that society, not money. The product of your society, if you want to know if a society has the strength to withstand or last, you have to look at the product of it, which are the children of it. So when you look at the conscious community, it's a community where the cults, the European cults have taken over those communities. You look at the practices of cults like Nation of Islam, the cults like 5%ers, the cults like Hebrew Israelites, the cults like Jehovah's Witnesses, these cults like Seventh-day Adventists, these cults have taken over the men of our society. They have taken over, they have occupied them with bullshit. They have occupied them with talking too much shit. Pierre Wahid says, what is the purpose of that house of consciousness? What do they say they are working towards? From what I can see, the house of consciousness is about black power, black unity. But from what I can see as well, like, they have not built a community for their women and children. There is no community for their women and children where you can go. I live in an area where I can say, hey, this is where the Indians live. This is the Indians community. Hey, this is the Pakistanis community. But when you go to Harlem, you cannot pinpoint anything to say, hey, this is the House of Consciousness community. I remember when Farrakhan came and Farrakhan started to dupe us, Farrakhan promised a community. And this is how you see Chicago going down. And all these talkative black niggas, they don't have the mentality to question their leadership properly, because the leadership is made up of men kissing other men's assholes. It's not really about men being leaders, or it's not about men building wealth for women and children. It's about these men feeling good about themselves because they can talk much shit. I really believe that they dropped the ball. I believe Saneter, because Saneter say, him in his own words, he says we dropped the ball because instead of punching Tommy, they wanted to have a discussion. But I think you dropped the ball in way deeper senses than just that superficial incident. I think you men have dropped the ball for a long time. And the reasons why you're not aware that you dropped the ball is because your women are not keeping you to task. Okay, I'm asking those of you who are tuning to my live to like the live, share the live. I'm going to end the live right now. And as I'm ending the live, I want to mention what I call a clash of cultures. It's a clash of culture right now in the United States of America. And if you do not hold on to your own culture, you're going to suffer and you're going to lose. Because this clash of culture, it means that the culture that the the white people and the African Americans have created is the dominant culture. There is no such thing as black people in the United States anymore, because when you're speaking about the African Americans, they are no different than their white counterparts. Same difference. Same shit. Okay? So if you think that you're going to jump into the game of racism, you're going to lose too. Because the game of racism is a business for the white people, it's a business for the African Americans. Okay? So when you're coming into this country, don't jump into the black people bandwagon. Just because we all share color, skin, it doesn't mean, when you look at white people, are all white people the same? No. So why should all black people be the same? When you look at white people, Europeans, they are known for torturing and killing each other. Before they were hating black people, they were hating each other because their cultures are not the same either. Even the Europeans are different tribes. Okay? You look at the Irish, the British, the Germans, the French. All of those are different tribes and they have always hated each other. So you right now, okay, the United States, when you look at the Americans, they are all the same. It's the same culture. It's a culture of hatred. It's a culture of men talking too much shit. It's a culture of men not giving wealth to their women, but pretending they are for women advancement. You're not for women. You are for the domination of women. You are for women serving you. And I'm asking those women again, who keep involving themselves in those movement of consciousness, why do you keep serving males who do not give you back wealth in return? Who do not nurture your children in return? I think all of you who watch my live tonight, this live, I made it because I want to share with my YouTube community. It's a reply to Thomas Sotomayor. It's a reply to the House of Consciousness. It's a reply to what's happening between the males. Because there is a tragedy. There is a crisis in manhood. So in exercising manhood, and the reason why there is a crisis in manhood, because the exercising of manhood requires action beyond talking shit. Okay, there's going to be a time where you're going to have to step to another man and you're going to have to physically assert yourself. And the culture of the United States of America does not allow males, it does not allow males the affordability to physically handle each other. That's why nowadays, when another man wants to handle another man, the first thing they want to do is jump on top of you and shove a dick up your ass, because it's the next best available physical restraint. It's the next best available physical way to dominate another man. So when you're looking at the concept, instead of using physical strength, they're using sexual strength now to dominate each other as males. Okay, so the concept of manhood in the United States is a concept that has been changed. But while that concept is changing, I want to remind all of you who identify yourself as black people in the United States, that when you're speaking of black people, you're not necessarily speaking about Haitians. You're not speaking about us Haitians. Because us Haitians, we still have a culture, we still have a tradition, we still have our way of life that has been verified by our ancestors. One more thing that I want to say to the people of the House of Consciousness and these other conscious black people, please stop fucking with Haitian history, especially to the Hebrew motherfuckers. Please stop taking down and dragging Haitian history, because now when I look at the Hebrew Israelite niggers, I see them just like the NAACP. They are a fabrication of white privilege. And they are there to destroy other black people who want to hold their authentic way of life. So if you listen to a Hebrew Israelite motherfucker, they will make you run and leave your inheritance. Because our ancestors not only left us a culture and a way of life that is verified, our American land, our American inheritance is under attack by Hebrew Israelites who are telling Haitians they are Levi's. Get the fuck out of here, niggas. You niggas are salop. Okay, you niggas are detrimental. You niggas are reckless. Because you want to encourage Haitian people to live our American legacy, to live our American wealth, because you want to tell us that we are Levi. Who the fuck is Levi, nigga? Who the fuck is that? You need to take the fake history and ball it up and give it to the man next to you so he can shove it up your anus. Because you have no clue. You are participating in the destruction of American life, of American history. Because as the originators of American continent, you are telling us to drop our inheritance and to run to Levi. Levi is a lost motherfucker, nigga. Who the fuck wants to be Levi? You be Levi, nigga. You be a fucking Levi. So that's my message to the Hebrew Israelites who keep distorting Haitian history. Because the Hebrew Israelite cult is the same as the NAACP cult. They were put together by the same people to distort inheritance, my inheritance in the American continent, because it's my continent. My people are the originators. We are the original people of this continent. So you want to take us away and send us in the fucking refrigerator to fetch a blue apple, nigga? That's what you want to do. Okay, so you're becoming a power of destruction in the United States. And we cannot trust you. We cannot trust you with anything. You are taking, like when you're looking at the reason why they hate Tommy Sotomayor is because of the things that he reports about the actions of black women and the actions of black males. Your actions are destroying others, but you don't give a fuck because all you care about is the paper that you're supposedly getting, but we don't see any evidence of it. When you look at the children of the people who are supposedly getting the paper, you are seeing the most of what mental defectiveness looks like. I'm looking at this TV show called Growing Up Hip Hop Atlanta, and there's this young woman in there. She's supposedly the daughter of a famous DJ. Okay, this young girl, she's taking lesbian to the next level because you can tell she's forcing. It's like she's wearing the lesbian as if that's all it is to her. This is a young little beast, female beast. She says, I don't like children. Like she's giving herself all these different attributes. And the way that she's carrying herself, you see, that's a mentally defective little bitch. If this is what African-American money is creating, if this is what African-American wealth is creating, then fuck all of y'all. You can keep that shit. If this is what you're breeding, these are the kind of little bitches you're breeding, you can keep that shit. And so, let's not destroy Haitian culture because you're mad, Tommy, because you're embarrassed that another man punched your face out. Okay, because in the Haitian community, we don't do that. In the Haitian community, when a man becomes 30, he has a wife. He has a wife and children to take care of. And his life is about building his woman. Okay? His life is about building the women in his life. It's not about being a fuck nigger or a bitch ass nigger or a talkative nigger. It's not about entertaining other males. It's not about impressing other males. It's not about dominating other males. We have a way of life that is certified by our ancestors, and we want to keep it that way. So even though we, the Haitian people, we are facing attacks, cultural, financial, economic, we are facing religious division because the Christians have come to take us apart, but we shall not be moved. Okay, the Haitian culture, the Haitian way of life is the only jurisdiction of black power you have left in the Western Hemisphere, and it shall not be destroyed because for as long as I am alive, for as long as my bloodline manifests, we are here. We're not going anywhere. And we're not going to be part of the black people you keep referring to. That's not us. That's not what our ancestors worked for. So that you can bunch us in a fucking bag. You can bunch us with the rest of the tragedies. We have our own shit going on. And believe you me, we will figure it out. Because in our culture, it's unity that makes strength. So yes, we the Haitian people, we are going to get back that unity. And we're going to work back towards having a society that is where women and children are first. Not where men worship other males. Not where you become a Mason, a Seventh-day Adventist, where you become a nation of Islamists. That's not what our culture is about. Men sniffing other men's anus. That's not what our culture is about. So eventually, we're going to fix that. But in the meantime, a lot of you talkative niggas need to watch your motherfucking mouths. That's why I did this live tonight. Just to tell you to watch your motherfucking mouth, bitch ass niggas. Watch your mouth. Don't let your anger take you somewhere else. Okay, because the business of talking to women, Okay, that's why a lot of time when men talk, it's a turn off because you're supposed to be working, not talking shit. In my culture, it is women who raise children. It is women who stir and guide society. So it's a woman's job to talk too much. But it's never a man's job to talk all that shit. Okay? So I do thank all of you who came to watch. Don't forget to click like on my live. Don't forget to like and subscribe to my YouTube channel. My YouTube channel is The Haitian Voice. Don't forget to stop by and visit my YouTube channel. There should be at least 15 likes on this live because tonight was a very small audience, about 15 people, which was fine. I would rather have 15 people than to have 2,000 motherfuckers who don't know and who are sending me negative energy. Okay, because right now in the Haitian community, we are being faced. There are a lot of Haitian, greedy motherfucking Haitians who are bringing to the community the culture of African Americans. So right now we have males. We have a couple of males in the Haitian communities who want to be known as queens. And we have a couple of weak bitches who want to relinquish their titles to these males. Because these same bitches are the same bitches who are bleaching their skins. These are the same bitches who are putting on the hair hats, who are putting on other women's panties, other women's hair, other women's everything. So these bitches are non-factor, null bitches in our communities, but because they are coming with the African-American lifestyle, they want to make you think that they are prime bitches. So we, the Haitian people, we have our own problems because we have Haitians coming to destroy Haitian lifestyle. So let us deal with these Haitians, and then we can deal with the rest of you because we have our own internal struggle here. I'm dealing with a bunch of little biatches because these biatches are weak in the mind. They don't know that they need to support me. They don't know that they don't need to relinquish the title of the Queen of Haiti to a male. He's a motherfucking man. Let him find his own way. But these bitches are so null. They are so low self-esteem. Like I said to you, these are the bitches that bleach their skin. So when you're dealing with low self-esteem hoes, it's a whole different ball games. And I'm ready for you. I'm ready for you hoes. If you think you're going to take my culture and you're going to drag my culture just because you want to be popular like an African-American, you got to deal with me first. And for the bitch-ass nigga in my Haitian community who calls himself a queen, you need to go deal with the queens in the other queen communities. Because as far as I know, nigga, you know nothing about being a queen. You know nothing. You have not competed with the other queens. So how can we even validate even a little bit of you? I do thank all of you who stopped in to watch my live. I'm an author, an activist. I'm a motivational speaker. This is one of my books. If you go to my website, lahinipr.com, you will find that I have an essay called Freedom Conscience. I have another novel called General Authority. I also have a documentary that you can watch free. It's on YouTube too. It's called Haiti on Demand. Thank you for watching. Have a good night.